GT out on its maiden voyage and see how this thing rides. Word on the street is it is a 168 volts of absolute funk in the trunk. And we're going to find out. The suspension on both sides, I forget what you want to call that, the double oil coil solution. I don't know exactly what you want to call that. But I'm really excited to see what that's like paired with the 168 volt system. The motor seems really responsive. My frame of reference, Master Pro version 3, T4, V14, V12 high torque, EXN. But from my frame of reference where I'm sitting right now, really felt like it had a lot more zest than what I would have expected from that 4,000 watt motor. So I'm really excited to see how it rides.
Yo, what's up, guys? Just before everything else, just want to give a big shout out to the folks over at Alien Ride, specifically Rob, and my homie over at Will Good Time, Rob Fail, without whom this video series would not be possible. So let's get into it. I want to draw your attention to the handles at the front of the EUC. The GT Pro has these really sports car inspired sort of stylings at the front and the back, kind of a fascia, well, and then like a spoiler. At the front, the fascia has two handles that you can reach to for leverage. The front one that I'm holding onto right now, when you lean into it, allows for you to get this uncanny acceleration, this wild acceleration I've never been able to experience in a seated capacity. Something I'm not sure if other EUC manufacturers are going to try to copy, or if it's going to be something that they keep on doing going forward, but it works really well for control. The top handle, conversely, what I'm holding onto right now, is exquisite for braking. You lean back, you pull on it, it just is like, stop immediately. Both of them together really change the way that you can approach high-speed seated riding. Just being able to get yourself in front of the wheel that way, something about that is just so exhilarating and inspiring with regard to the speed and the amount of poise that it seems to have at speed. It just wants to go. It's absolutely mind-numbing how aggressively this thing just wants to yank in terms of its acceleration. It's unlike anything that I've ever been on. The confidence that it gives you in traffic is scary. You just do not feel like you are held back by anything. It just goes. It does it effortlessly. It is so effortless in the acceleration that in my mind, it is a great candidate for the power knobs. So that's something I'm going to be implementing in future videos. You're going to see me riding with the power knobs. The sticky sensation that it has on the ground, the balance that it seems to have front to back, it is an absolute joy to ride. I haven't received a wheel. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Except for the V14, I hadn't received a wheel that felt like a generational leap yet. This particular wheel is a generational leap. I've ridden the ET Max. That thing felt kind of heavy to me. I would need more time with it to play with the settings and have it in my stable for a little while in order to get the ins and outs of it. But this, without any sort of anything, just wants to rip super hard. You'll see the machine itself is pretty well entirely underneath the height of my knees. It is really low for the offering that it is, especially in the current markets. Everybody's building up, 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 up. But this thing is just a wonderfully stacked package, just glued to the road. Rips super duper fast. The personality becomes super clear. You know, at first when you pull it out of the box, you're like, oh man, this has like this kind of industrial 80s sort of like sports car stylizations, but when you hop on it, the personality really comes to life. It's not a wheel that's meant for off-road in any regard. I climbed up over a little curb and it just clipped the battery box, and so it's not something that I would say is super good for off-road utility. But for ripping on the streets, oh my god. And then seated riding on this thing is a whole nother can of beans. It's just crazy, guys. I can't tell you enough positive things about this wheel so far. The motor makes this really cool sound that no other motor that I hear, like, or that I've heard makes. It's just super grunty. It's like
Aaron was just talking about how the weight on this wheel in hard mode, you just feel it a lot more. It's a little bit more difficult to move around. I think he's probably right. I think that you got to have maybe 250, 275 worth of body mass in pounds to make that not a problem. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I've been riding on it. I've been liking it. These aren't the pads that are going to stay on it. I'm going to end up switching back to some power knobs that I have at the house. I just kind of wanted to see what the stock configuration was like. Stock pedals are nice. Probably could go for like the lifts at the front and the back though. I like the E-Rides ones. This wheel would benefit from it. Just ripping around. Just ripping around. Look at that. Sexy little beast. Master Pro version 3. The Clark pads. Yeah. What's up, Aaron?
Hey.
Doing all right?
How's it going?
Yeah. That's a big dog right there. That's the big dog. Y'all ain't even know about it. But it's true, though. Anyway, guys, let's ride some more. We'll talk about this guy and have fun.
Okay, it wasn't until this run I was just by myself and I was able to really open up the wheel on the commute back to my client this morning, and oh my goodness, like oh my goodness, this thing just hauls so much. So right here, I'm behind this Durango like an SRT, and he tries to haul, but he's like, oh man, I'm gonna get away from you. I'm gonna get away. I don't know why this dude was punching all the way to infinity and beyond, but right here, I swear, we both must have clipped like 50 miles an hour right here in such a tight little spot. And again, I'm not really sure why he was like so like keen on just like hauling, and then he started acting kind of weird with his behavior as far as like hugging on the brakes a little bit, it felt like. And you know, I'm not really sure exactly if he was trying to communicate something that he wasn't saying, but just be safe, guys, out here, because you never know what people are going through, and they might not be horrible people, but when somebody's upset or like in the heat of a moment, they might, you know, try to run you off the road or brake chuck you, or, you know, who knows, man. But no matter what they do, the GT Pro will absolutely have you ready to either A, stop on a dime so that way you don't run into them, or B, just absolutely shoot to the moon. It just makes you so excited to run on, guys. Like, I don't know if you can catch the sense of speed and the sheer sense of like expression through movement that this thing just gives you, but it's like on rails, and it just wants to carve, and it just wants to go, and it just wants to keep on going super fast. I mean, whatever it is that you want it to do, the thing is just ready to like go, and it seems like it will push every bit as fast from, you know, like 30 to 40 as it will from 40 to 50 as it will from 50 to, I haven't like clocked it yet, but it, you know, it went up, I think I got it up to like 58 at some point, like on the wheel speed. So, you know, this thing just does not stop accelerating, it feels like. I really feel like if you are the sort of person who really enjoys high-speed riding, in any way. Like if high speed, if just the acceleration and the hard braking, like if the g-forces of what that is what like gets you going, then like this wheel will be a joy for you. If you need any kind of bonking, jumping, stairs, any of that stuff, this is not the wheel for you. It's got really, really, really low clearance on the batteries, so you're going to have some clearance issues there. It is not made for that, not made for the jumping, not made for the huge bonking, not made for the huge stair stuff. This thing is made for flatland ripping, for the racing enthusiast who wants to just donkey punch the competition into oblivion and make them just taste the vapors of your awesomeness and all of the rawness that you can put down to the pavement because you've just mastered your capacities as a racer. This is that wheel. This wheel does not feel nearly as heavy as it has looked in some other videos that I've seen. This wheel's super duper light. Like the 168 volts just takes what you have between your legs and just makes it into a super nimble, agile, light wheel that just doesn't know how to stop going. I mean, the giddy up that this thing has is just astronomical. It will not stop moving. I don't know how to like convey it better. Gosh, maybe it's like going from like an MCM5 to like an EXN, you know, and then maybe going from like an EXN to like what a Master felt like. But even that feels really, really close. Like that even feels close. Like this feels like an exponential generational leap. Like it feels like we skipped a couple generations with this wheel. If you are a speed demon, I cannot tell you like enough. If you are a person who loves and digs that agile low riding wheel, if you like to ride seated, this thing has so much top surface for you to ride on the front of the center of gravity, the back of the center of gravity, like whatever your bias preference is, wherever you like to have your knees situated, this wheel is gangster for that, and it will not let you down, not a little bit, with the amount of speed and acceleration that it has. Short of an interstate, you are going to be able to merge anything. You are going to be able to push through any bit of traffic. You are going to be able to get out of the way, slam on the brakes, whatever you need to do. Again, this is just like my initial impressions of how this wheel feels to ride. I'm not doing an official review just yet. I'm gonna need a lot more time with the wheel, but initially, you know, it just feels like a super big generational leap in what wheels are capable of and how fast you're able to go and sustain and feel good about it. I absolutely love the way that the motor sounds when you get on it at low speeds, especially when it's just grunting and dumping all that voltage in there to make the thing just go. It just sounds so sexy. It just sounds so sexy. Initially, the battery capacity on the wheel definitely seems kind of short. You know, I'm not expecting to get more than 25-30 miles out of this wheel. I feel like if you weren't like just honky-tonking, like stomping, going stupid fast, I feel like you could probably get more miles out of it. But nobody's going to get this wheel to just go chilly. If you're going to go chilly, then get yourself a V11. You get this wheel because you want to go spicy. And this wheel is more spicy than most people I know are capable of getting. And when I tell you that this thing moves, it absolutely moves. I ordered a Racebox Mini so that way I can actually prove to you guys how this thing moves, because it's just that crazy in terms of how it feels. It's absolutely stunning. I cannot believe how powerful it feels and just how glued it feels. The suspension, I don't really think that it is refined. I got to kind of adjust it a little bit, but it doesn't feel super duper, like it doesn't feel as, gosh, I don't know. I feel like I need to do some tweaking with it. It just doesn't feel tight, and I'm able to bottom out a little bit more than what I want to. But again, this thing isn't meant for any sort of vertical travel. So it's like, if you're bottoming this thing out, you're probably taking it out of its use case. Lord, it's a gorgeous wheel though, isn't it? Seriously, for the track enthusiast, for the person that just wants to go stupid fast, that wants to beat everybody in every single thing that you enter, this is that race wheel. This is that wheel that will just shock and awe every single person every single time with the amount of speed that they're able to get just effortlessly. I mean, with just your feet, without even the pads, just leaning, just like the suggestion of going, it's almost telepathic how quickly it like succumbs to your whims. When you get this out of the box, you're not really going to need anything to get it going, except for some except for some pads. The stock pads are kind of yeah. The back ones definitely yeah. So outside of a pad setup, I really think that this wheel is pretty well complete. It's got roll cage FX in the front and in the back. It's got plenty of top surface for seating. It's got the suspension adjustment tops, thoughtfully covered on both sides with a nice little cushion strip on both sides of the top of the wheel to kind of prevent bruising on the inner thigh, on the inner knee area. So, I mean, it's really ready to ride right out of the box. It's just sturdy feeling. This thing is built to be a dragster, man. It's built to be a race car. It's not built to be like a Mercedes, or it's not even really built to be a Ferrari. This thing is just purpose built to be on the track, roll cage and, harness for the rider and spoilers to keep the thing glued down. So every single thing about this is just glorious utilitarian in the purposes of being the most fast, baddest, assest, like just racingest person on the planet, and the feelings of invigoration that it conveys, the sheer superhero powers that it gives, I mean, it far outshines anything thusly in terms of speed and acceleration. So if it's all about that speed and it's all about that go go go, that's the take home. That's the take home from this video. I know I've said it over and over and over, but when you hop on it, you cannot believe how light it feels. I'm telling you guys, it's absolutely crazy. It just feels so darn light. Feels like you can flick the thing around no problem. That voltage absolutely comes through to make it just do the impossible, it feels like. So if it's about that giddy up and get down, and that is who you are, and that is what you are all about, everything else is slow in comparison to this. When I tell you they are slow, they are so slow in comparison to this thing. It is a staggering, mind-boggling rocket ship of just pure joy, like 3,000 watts of absolute pure joy. I mean, you can certainly get that battery down quicker than nobody's business, but while you're having fun, while you're at it, it will be some of the most fun that you have ever experienced in your life. Again, I just want to thank Raub over at Alien Rides and Kevin for allowing it to happen, and I really want to thank my buddy Rob Vail over at Wheel Good Time for making this possible, man. I really enjoy riding these wheels and sharing with you guys how I feel about them, and how they compare to the other wheels that are out there, and what you can expect when you ride them, and what the use cases for them are. Because really, I don't feel like there's bad wheels. There's just mismatched use cases. So it's like if you buy a wheel for this, but you're doing that, then it just doesn't translate to a good experience. And I genuinely think that's the only thing that happens. So if you do end up wanting a Commander GT Pro, please make sure to head on over to Alien Rides, and you can use my code JohnnyGoVroom, and that'll save you some money. And who doesn't like to save money? Seriously, I like to save money anywhere that I can. You got to. Eggs are expensive these days. It's an existence crisis. It's ridiculous, guys. But thanks again for stopping by and showing some love. Okay, please remember to like, subscribe.
All right, guys. Wow. I'm gonna go ahead and punch off. Later, guys.
Yeah, you can sleep next to this charger because it's like a white noise machine for real. I don't know if you want to sleep next to a fully charging EUC device, but all of that noise is coming from this little guy right here. It's like a wind tunnel back here. Like, crazy.